language. I can guess at it, although I can't tell you as a matter of fact why they went that route. Could it be corrected at some point? Sure. Is it necessary to correct it for purposes of this article? Probably not.
But then,
We're not going to have a discussion. Please make your argument on the pros or the cons of the
argument
article.
is that that deed is still in effect. And at some point in time, it's going to have to be corrected. And until it is, I think it should be corrected first before we move forward, and then move forward on this should we have to. Because if somebody takes you to land court, I think the deed is going to override what town meeting did, what town meeting said. So I think we've got a problem with the deed that needs to be taken care of. We just can't overlook
Well, I
it.
think the question's been asked and answered. Gentleman to my left.
Yes, Steve Curry, Precinct 5. Just a couple of questions, Mr. Moderator. First, from the initial article that was printed, the changes, the parcels, and everything are all different than was printed, and the article's about 50% changed. Doesn't that classify as substantial changes than what the public was led to believe what the article would be?
That's a good question, and I raised that question myself. Some other people raised that question at some open forums that took place between the time the warrant was printed and this evening. And upon review, as everybody knows, my policy is any amendments cannot be expansive of what the town has been put on notice about. These changes are restrictive. In other words, all of the lots in the article as printed in the motion. So therefore, a larger parcel was defined into a smaller parcel. So that amendment is appropriate. Or, excuse me, the motion is appropriate.
Okay, my second question, the previous speaker mentioned that in the writing of this article, it gives the selectmen permission to lease the property. There's nothing in there that says about coming back to the body. Basically, this article is saying gives them permission to negotiate and lease. Is that correct through town council?
I think I can answer it based on what was said previously. It was mentioned that CPC funds are involved here, and before those CPC funds can be applied, this town meeting would have to make that decision.
But excuse me, Mr. Morrow, that's not what the article says. The article just says to grant permission to lease or the property.
Council will answer the question.
Mr. Moderator, through you to the previous speaker. Yes, the article, if passed, would give the Board of Selectmen the authority to lease the property for the purpose of affordable senior housing for up to 99 years. So you're absolutely correct. If, however, some other funding source were required to make any of the deals work, that would have to come back to you.
Okay. And then another question, in the presentation, it said 4.6 million to almost $7.5 million in revenue. If the property's being built and even assessed for $40 million at a $10 tax rate, that's only going to bring in $400,000 a year. Is this 4.6 over 20 million over 20 years or per year? And then secondly, if the company that does this or is leasing it is a non-profit organization, that property becomes tax exempt, if non-charitable organization. So there will not be.
Are we ready? Tell it to my right.
58, 5-8.
58. In the center.
128.
128. To my left.
75, 75.
75. It appears to be consistent. I'm going to declare that the motion passes. It's consistent with the original vote.